Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing today? This is Yusuf Chaudhry tuning in again from San Antonio, Texas. It is 7 p.m. Central Time. Shoot in the dark, SA. What's going on? He's asking this question. Interesting question. Are you a Jedi? What do you think? All right, let's get into the subject, shall we? Keep sending those questions. So one of the question I got, what is the most common mistake? What is the one common mistake that most business do when it comes to either social media in general or Facebook specific? I would say that the main number one mistake is that they don't look into the analytics, or they don't look into the data. Okay. And I've seen so many small businesses that don't even utilize the, let's say, specifically if you want to talk about Facebook, like Facebook ads, right? Because the thing with the organic, first of all, with the organic posting, which is still important, don't get me wrong. I mean, because that's like in a brand, you're building a brand awareness, right? But when you do things organically, and if you want to collect a interested audience, target audience to basically like your page, that's going to be like a long process. You're looking at like possibly several months and so forth, right? So if that is your objective, to go things organically, then that's totally fine. But I think businesses really need to focus on the data, generating leads, and focusing on how to implement some type of strategic ways to basically convert. When you implement Facebook ad, for example, I mean, you can specifically target certain demographic, interest, behavior, age group, right? So that basically means that you have a more chance for people that are interested in your product and services, basically, to click on that particular post. And from there, you can, I mean, especially with Facebook, you get so many categories. If you want to build quality likes quickly, then you can definitely invest in the ad, right? If you want to get conversion or sale, you can definitely use the ad. But the thing is, when folks focus too much on the so-called likes and comments and the share, or especially the likes or the views, and the boost about, oh, look, we have so many views. I mean, that really means nothing if it doesn't convert those views into like a paying customers, right? So that's the thing. I mean, you do have to, if you are going to utilize both the organic strategies and the ad strategy, then you definitely have to look at the, hey Nia, what's going on? And then you definitely have to look at the comparison. And Nia, what's going on? So you have to look at the comparison between the running the ads and also doing things organically. Lauren, what's going on? Is it easier to grow the SEO for a startup or fix the SEO of an established brand? Yusufi, wow, that's new. Does that mean I'm your Yusuf? That's kind of weird. But anyway, so let's talk about the question here. Maybe not fix, continue. Well, Lauren, your question, is it easier to grow the SEO for a startup or fix the SEO of an established brand? That's an excellent and beautiful question. Okay. Here's the thing. Let's look at this question and let's look at the scenario. Okay. So to do it for a brand new fresh, that means you basically starting everything from fresh. You have specifically certain data, certain strategy, and you're building up. So it's much easier to kind of track a lot of information, because the process of link building, the traffic, is everything is so slow that means you have less data, which eventually going to grow, but at the same time, you have less information to work with that can give more accurate information. Or basically time efficiency. It's going to be more efficient for the startup, right? But it's going to build up, right? Now, let's say an established business for 5 years or more, they have a good online presence, but it needs improvement. So what you're doing right now, you're doing an assessment, which is the backlink analysis, on-page audit, what are the stuff that are missing, and what are the stuff that you need to fix. Which, by the way, from a business point of view, that means you can charge more, because to build something from scratch, you have a certain price to start on that. But to fix issues, that's an additional fee or estimate that you can add it to your client. Make sense? So you can actually make more money as well by fixing things. And what is going to happen, you are going to end up doing more work, because you're not just building the house, you're actually fixing the houses, right? You're fixing the house, flipping it, right? Then selling it, right? So look at it from the flip home kind of model, right? So both are different. And when you implement the search engine, you can do it on both. You can do it on startup company, brand new, or you can continue with the one that is already kind of established, but you're going to fix the on-page SEO. You're going to start adding more off-page strategies. You're going to add more improvement, because the objective in both cases, the objective is what? The objective is to basically bring the targeted audience to the website so they can convert, and the target audience can buy the product and services. You know what I mean, right? So both are important. So it's not, you're not gonna pick. You're not gonna say, oh, this is a startup company, I'm not gonna do it for them. You're gonna pick both, but the process is gonna be a little bit different from the one that you're gonna do fresh, because you have all the information. The assessment that you're doing mostly like competitor analysis, and you're building everything from a fresh start, right? But for an existing side, you have to do like an on-page analysis. You have to do like a strategy assessment. Then you have to come with so many other plans, because sometimes it can be beneficial to you, because if everything is good, let's say the on-page is good, you have some link building, it might needs minor adjustment. Okay, then you can apply the minor adjustment, which means you're probably not going to make a lot, but at least you made the minor adjustment so you can improve it. So it's like case by case basis. You know what I mean? Hey, Deborah, thank you for tuning in. How are you doing? Let me know if you all have any question about digital marketing. Hey, Ray, what's going on? I have 2 domains. One website on domain A, and I'm doing SEO on website A. Okay, so that's domain A. If I forward domain B to domain A, is that good for website A SEO, or does it harm the website A SEO? Excellent question. It depends how are you forwarding. So let's say you have a website A that has home, services, blog, contact us, and whatnot. If the domain B has a specific keyword base, let's say under those services, then you can point it to that service page, not the home page. Because what happened in the search engine, when it looks at the domain, sometimes your Google Search Console will say, hey, how come the domain B has similar content to domain A, like a duplicate, right? So the search engine is not going to give it any value. This technique, like a decade ago, people used to do that, the forward different domain to the main website for so-called ranking. Guess what? That doesn't work anymore. Okay, that stuff doesn't work anymore. The search engine got so advanced right now with the algorithm. Some of these old technique does not work. Now, if you have the domain B, you can utilize it for landing pages. You can utilize it for ads, like Google Ads, Bing Ads, social media ads. If you do want to point it to specific content-based or keyword-based pages within the website, then it's better for you to point it to a specific sub-pages and not just the home page. Make sense? So that was a very excellent question. So let's see what else we have. What else we have? And the same issue happens. You have some businesses that have multiple domains, and you have to be very careful, because having multiple domains can cause some sort of inconsistency with the branding. If your brand is one name, then it should be across the board on all the social channels, on your online presence. Everything has to be that one name. That's why I don't like how some businesses has this domain name, a second domain name, and the design is different but has the same content. What are you trying to accomplish, right? Again, a lot of time, most of us or most of the businesses don't think about the user experience. They don't think about the customer's experience on the website. They don't even think from a customer point of view or the visitor's point of view. Like, what do they like? What do they want? How do they feel when they visit the website? You know what I mean? You are most welcome, bro. Ray, it's been a while, man. Are you gonna continue with the project? Let me know if you're still open to that. So, does that make sense? I mean, a lot of time when we build an online presence, whether through the website, through the social, we do have to focus more on how do my customers going to behave when they find the website? What are they looking for? That's why you have the Google Analytics and the Search Console to give you that information. Even now in the social channels, like, you know, YouTube has its own analytics, Twitter, LinkedIn, especially Facebook also has its own data. So you need to look at these analytics and also understand them, not just look at them like looking at it, but understand what does each section or category mean, and how does this affect my business, or how can I use these data to go back and come up with a different strategy and implement it to improve. You know what I mean? To improve the business and also to improve the experience, the good experience that my audience is going to receive. The target audience. You know what I mean? So I still see this as a common thing. I'll call it the aesthetic of things, or the makeup of things, and looking at the feelings and not looking at data, not looking at thinking, or not using plans based on analytical strategy or based on some sort of information, some sort of data. Okay, so as I mentioned, I mean, this is a very common thing that I noticed, where they look at for example, let's say you have an existing client, they have a 10,000 Facebook followers, and now you start to implement the organic posting, and then the organic posting showing like, 40, 50 views, couple of likes. But then you have to ask this question: if I have a 10,000 followers in a Facebook, how come only 50 are seeing it? That's like nothing. That's like 0.000%. Okay, so that's the first question that should pops in your head. The second thing is, are these followers really, really my audience? Are these actual audience, or are these spam? Are these fake accounts? Are these just my friends? Right? It's very important to look at these at these so-called likes and followers and clean them up. Like, especially in Twitter, for example. Twitter has so many tools out there that you can delete and remove anybody that are not active, or anybody that could not be your potential customer. What's the point of having numbers when, let's say, 90% of the people that follow you, they're not even your customer, and you're wasting your time on organic posting, right? And the ad is different, because in the ad, you can target audience outside the page. So that's the beauty behind it. But with the organic posting, you're only focusing on who is following the page. You know what I mean? So the data doesn't stop looking at the analytics, looking at how many impressions, how many clicks, how many likes, and how many engagement. No, the data, you have to go outside the box. Which, by the way, if you're outside the box, you're still in the box of the outside the box. Anyway, the point is, you're going to go outside the box and start to figure out, think out loud. Okay, I have these numbers. Are these really my audience? Can I check every single profile and see what kind of stuff they share, what kind of stuff they like? If I'm only focusing in San Antonio, let's say I'm a barber shop, why would somebody from Arizona going to like my page, for example? I don't know. Maybe they have relative. I don't know, but it doesn't sound relevant if I'm only focusing on a specific location. That means I have to go back to the Facebook page and adjust the settings. Hey, Lauren, thank you for liking the live streaming. So I have to go adjust the setting and make sure that only folks from San Antonio, for example, going to find the page and like the page, and not somebody from outside. You see, so you have to really think, get into the in-depth of your data. I mean, you're not just 100% relying on the tool only, but you do have to utilize your critical thinking, So let's see if there's any more questions here. Are there any other tools beside Google for analytics? Oh yeah, of course. There are like tons. There are tons. I mean, Google of course is free, so you do need to have the Google Analytics and the Google Search Console, and you also need to understand how does the data get collected on both. What are the metrics? What are the information? What does the session mean? What does the view mean? What does the bounce rate means? What does the impression and the click? All this stuff. You have to understand all these analytical data, like how they work and what do they mean, right? Then after that, if you're gonna go above and beyond, there is the Google Tag Manager. There's also what is it? There's another one, Google something. But if you're gonna go and apply a third-party companies, then you look into Hotjar, Lucky Orange, Crazy Egg. So they show you the heat map. They show you exactly where the most of the concentration takes place on the front page. This is mostly like for the user experience and UX design. What I like about one of the most coolest features that I like about all these three tools that I mentioned, and there are actually more, these are the most popular that I know, is the video recording from the mobile devices and the desktop. So you can actually see how the website visitor that comes to a specific page, that let's say you put the code for that specific page, you can see, or a landing page, you can see how they're moving, where they're stopping. So this gives you an idea, okay, you know what, based on, let's say, 50 people coming to that particular page and they're behaving exactly the same way and they're not clicking on certain things, that can go back and remove certain elements because of that user experience and the behavior. So I can improve the user experience and the behavior so they can enjoy their time viewing the site. Okay, so those are some of the third party, but it's paid. I think it's like start like $40 a month minimum. Depends on the page views. So the higher the page views, you're gonna probably end up paying more. Okay, so those are the what you call it. Those are the paid version of the analytical tool. Okay. Let's see what else we have. What's going on, Madih? Assalamu alaikum, sister. How are you? It's been a while. How is life? How is family? How are things on your side of the world? Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions? Hey, Alex, what's going on? Sup, Yusuf? All is well. Thanks for asking, man. Everything is good, even if you step on a Lego. Okay. What you got, my man? You got any question for me? Are you stuck in something like business related, web related, social media, online related? Let me know. It's an ask Q&A session. Let me know if you have any more questions. How do we measure SEO? So basically, excellent question. So you have the on-page SEO, which is done one. The measurement usually takes place on the off-page SEO. That means you look at the increase in traffic, you look at the increase in conversion, you look at the increase in lead generation, you look at the page views. You also look at when you create those backlinks, are those backlinks working? Are the backlinks increasing, what do you call it, keyword exposure? How many keywords are pointing back to your website? How many refer links coming back to your website? How many domain refer sites coming back to your websites, right? And how you can reach out to other influencers or niche-based sites that can take content. So these are some of the. You asked that question above. I didn't see it. Okay. Sorry, Lauren. Let me go back again. So then you have to, of course, you have to use the search engine analytical tool like Href, SEMrush, or SEMrush, and SEO Power Suite to give you in-depth data about the activities that you're putting on a monthly basis that can take anywhere between 30 to 50 hours a month. See if those things works. Is there a basic SEO strategy that exists you can apply across the board, from a small business to a well-known international business that can grow ranking by 20%? Is there a basic strategy? Well, the thing that is a very beautiful question. When we do our strategy, it differs from website to website, from niche to niche, right? But I would say 80% of that strategy is almost the same, like very similar. The content might be different, the link building might be different, but the whole concept of link building and off page is still the same. I would say 70 to 80% still the same. The difference might be in the 30% or the 20%, right? So let me give an example. If you are a dentist in, let's say, Hawaii, in a specific area, and you want to just focus in that particular zip code, which means the strategy is going to heavily focus on local SEO. It's going to focus on content and optimization within that area. Even if you do a link building, it has to be within that area, which means which organization, which news outlet, which PR release content, which influencers in that area only, right? So the strategy is the same, but it's a little bit different. Now, when it comes to e-commerce, for example, hey Lisa, what's going on? When it comes to e-commerce, that's a whole different thing, because with e-commerce, the local SEO is not a priority. We can set it up as a company headquarter, but it's not considered a priority, right? So it's going to be focused on more on-page optimization on the product. Then you can utilize Google Shopping, which means we're going to connect it to Google Shopping for e-commerce search engine, for example, right? Then we're going to focus heavily on different kind of link building for e-commerce niche, for product niche and reviews. Do you see what I'm saying? So the concept of the strategy will be similar, like 70% to 80%, but the additional, because the niche are different, will be like 30 to maybe sometimes even 40% different. Like if you want to go international, that means, first of all, it's going to be super expensive. Like if you want to dominate, let's say you have a company, let's say you're a law firm, Lauren, right? And you want to dominate nationwide, right? So what's going to happen is like implement base times 50 states. So you can see how much the price is going to be higher. Makes sense? Because you want to dominate every location. And right now with the Google's algorithm, when people do a search, so Google's basically going to show the result based on their location, based on their IP, based on what they at. Do you see what I'm saying? So to answer your question, that increase, 20% considered like a standard. We say that 20% because when it comes to organic ranking, there's technically no guarantee because you have 60 trillion pages already competing, right? So that's why having an analytics configured to the website that you can show your client on a monthly basis what's happening on a slow basis, right? If you do things correctly, hey Larry, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. If you do things, what the hell is that? Freaking anyway. So if you do things correctly, for sure you will see like some type of either traffic going up or more keyword discovery. You will see something is happening, but it's very slow. Make sense? So it depends on the niche. So 20%, a lot of agencies, they say that to be on the safe side. Well, you'd be surprised. Sometimes it can be like 50. You never know. And just to be safe, that's why they utilize or they use the term 20%, right? If you do things correctly. But you're not going to see any result in 90 days. All right? Like how some people say that guaranteed in 90 days you're going to rank. That's kind of impossible. Well, why is it impossible? Like by design, it's impossible. Like the way the search engine works, it's impossible. Unless if you have a microsite that you created it for a chiropractor and you built it over a few months to rank, then you rent it out. It's called microsite. That's one strategy. But in 90 days to be on the first page, I've been doing this since 2006. Okay, I always say that's impossible unless if you do like a black hat technique, which nowadays really doesn't work no more. But even if Google finds out you're manipulating the system, you're gonna get sent to the sandbox quickly in a heartbeat. Alex, awesome, thank you. Now, does Google have their own website ranking system you can show a client? They don't have their own ranking system. You can go to Google's Webmaster Guideline. So they have a guideline that tells you when you build the website, these are the rules you have to follow from the perspective of the on page. That's it. But they're not going to talk too much about off-page SEO because you have to understand, Google makes the majority of their money through ads. So why would they give you the secret sauce on how to do SEO? Because SEO is organic, right? If you use SEO organically, that means you don't need to utilize the ad anymore. You know what I mean? Larry, my man, what's going on, man? It's been a long time, bro. How you been doing? Got it. Okay. Micro website. What is that? So micro website, back in the old day, micro website basically because it's like a 3 to 4 pages or maximum 5-page website. Let's say I'm going to make a website about a dentist, like home, about dentistry, services and contact and whatnot in San Antonio. It's a similar to a landing page. So you're going to talk about how the dentistry can help in certain things, case studies, and in San Antonio, like how the dentistry, blah, blah, blah. And you push traffic, you write blogging content organically to rank the page locally. So let's say San Antonio Dentistry or San Antonio Dentist, and that microsite or so-called microsite shows up on the front page. And now you can go to dentist, hey, I have this page that has a lead capture for like some type of, case study or PDF file or white paper, right? And I'm collecting, let's say 50 leads per day. Now I can change the address to yours, right? And you can still get the same lead by changing your information, changing your address, making some adjustment that fits your business. And just now you can charge them, like let's say how many lead costs for them. If they say every lead we get, it's like $100, or we get like, let's say a $500 profit. Okay, now you're gonna charge 100 per lead. You can charge this for like a couple of thousand a month to rent the site for businesses. So that's what it is, Lauren. But the thing is, with this sort of site, you have to put a lot of work, like from your own money to rank it locally, 6 months, sometimes 9 months. Then after that, you can rent it out. It's just another strategy that some SEO folks used to do it back in the day. Alex says, very true. Thanks. Okay. Anything else? These were great questions. Any more questions? Larry said, MashaAllah. Yes, Inshallah. All right. So, Akhi, I sent you a message about the fitness, I don't know, outdoor. Have you thought about that, doing something outside for your fitness? Larry is my, what do you call it? My humble fitness ninja dude. How do you do SEO to capture a worldwide audience? How do you do SEO to capture a worldwide audience? Well, it depends on your business. What is your business? If it's selling socks, I don't need the whole world to see it. I just need the people that want to buy those socks to find it, right? So within the SEO strategy, you have the on page that you have to do it on the website, correct? Then you have the off page. So the off page consists of so many tasks, like content distribution, link building, what do you call it? Social media profiles. There are like 50 to 100 ways that the most of the tasks involve outside the website. Okay, that is called, and that's a true SEO strategy, is the on page and the off page. And I'm kind of surprised that some agencies or some companies, they offer so-called SEO, right? Some of them, the ethical one will say they only do it once, because what they mean by doing it only once, that means they focus on the on page within the backend of the website. But some agencies I've noticed, or some companies or some contractors, that they claim that they do SEO and they charge monthly. But when I look at the contract and the task, it's only the on page. So they do the on page, but they charge monthly for a year. I'm like, why would you charge monthly for a task that you're not even doing, right? But the whole process of doing monthly tasks, there's so many things involved. If I can show you a draft sample of like, let me see if I can pull up a draft sample of some of the tasks that takes place when it comes to off-page SEO. Let's see. The stuff you can do when it comes to off-page. Yeah, like, let's see. You can do review sites, link from products. You can contribute to Q&A sites like Quora, right? Link to news, PR sites, infographic, creating PDF content and submitting to PDF website, doing webinars, submitting Word document to sharing sites. What else? Case study submissions, local news, local colleges. There are like tons, man. There are tons of ways to do that. It's like a full strategy, and you gotta do it organically. You don't want to go crazy on it, because because the thing with Google is this: as soon as they find out you're trying to manipulate the search, that's the thing they don't like. You gotta do things organically. So maybe the first month you're gonna do the weekly blog, the daily social media post, and the second week same stuff but with the addition of infographics, and the third week maybe with the addition of PowerPoint presentation, uploading it to slide shares. Fourth week maybe you're gonna do like two LinkedIn posts. You know what I mean. You gotta keep things organically, and it takes time. That's the thing that some businesses don't want to involve with SEO. I know it's a little bit pricey, but they don't want to involve in the SEO because they want fast result, fast phone call, fast booking. For them, the best option would be running Google Ads or Bing advertising. That's it. Because with that, they can see how many calls they're getting, how many impressions, how many click. And the first month going to be a test month. Then after that, once you collect the proper data and the conversion and the price and the budget, then starting the second month and third and fourth going to be things going to be put on a proper strategic basis so they can increase their phone calls and whatnot. Make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's see what else we have here. I think Facebook is acting weird. I mean, it's funny that when I make an announcement about, like, every Sunday I'm doing a SEO series right now with my business partner from Chicago, and when I tell people like, hey, I'm going live, you can see it on Facebook and Periscope and YouTube, and they ask me, send me the link or where is it at? I'm like, just go to my Facebook, like, my facebook.com/Yusufide, and it should be right there under my post. So if you're not seeing it, if you're not getting notification, you all need to let me know what's going on, because I'm not sure if it's a glitch from Facebook, because recently they made an update about the so-called layout, which was kind of really sucky. I tried it for like a few days. I'm like, nah, let me just go back. This is much better. Not having like a freaking 2-column and thing in the middle. I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, what is this? What is this? So I was like, nah, let me just go back, and maybe later on eventually they might force it. You never know. So, all right, folks. Do we have any more questions on digital marketing, on WordPress, search engine, online ads, anything like you need help business-wise? Feel free to ask and just don't stare at my face. In that case, I'm going to wait for a minute. If there's no more question, I will bounce. And hopefully I'll be back sometime this week. I can say I'm going to be here every single day. Kind of too busy. But why do large corporations who probably have marketing team reach out to agencies? A beautiful question. Sometimes big corporations might have a marketing team, but they are a traditional marketing team. That means they do a lot of work with TVs and radios and stuff like that. So when they reach out to agencies, they're either reaching out for a specific task or for stuff like they don't have, like digital marketing, for example. Or maybe they don't have everybody in the marketing. Maybe they have marketing that specialize in design. They probably specialize in just concept and ideas, and that's about it, But in my experience, most of the agencies that approach us, because they were traditional, they just wanted somebody to do the digital, either full service or some of our services. Thanks for the time and your expertise, Yusuf. Stay blessed, brother. Talk soon. Of course, Alex, likewise, my brother. Likewise. So, Lauren, those are the reasons, And the thing with specifically the digital marketing business, I would say the majority of them are like collaborators. They collaborate with other companies, with other contractors, freelancers, other agencies. That's how the business model works. And I've seen many. I'm here locally in San Antonio. I've worked with several agencies that have a full in-house that they want to have one thing. Let's say they have everything except, let's say, SEO. So they're going to hire an SEO person from outside. And if they do, the thing is, if they want to have an in-house, that means more. You have to pay more versus hire a contractor, because they don't have to pay for the insurance and all the other stuff. So they hire a contractor. So that depends on their decision, right? Some company just hire for in-house, and somebody just outsource it to another local agency or nationwide agency. Larissa, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. One second, Larissa. I know you for a while. I think, let's see. I saw your name before. Let's see. Where did I see that? Well, I'm trying to make a pre-launch strategy for my website. Do you have any suggestion or what to do? Well, it depends. First of all, if you can tell us what is your website, right? Like, what is your website? what is it about, and what are you trying to launch? Is it a product base? Is it a service page? Right? And before you even build the site, there are a couple of questions you have to ask. Right? There are a couple of questions that you have to ask yourself. Like, first, the first question I would say, what is going to be the objective of my website? What I mean by that, am I building a website so I can get more booking? Am I building a website so I can get more, get an estimate? Am I building an e-commerce site to build specific products? Right? What is the main objective? Is it just a blog? Is it an information based website? Right? Like, what is the one main objective? Okay, so that's the first question. The second question you have to ask is, how many pages do I need, and why do I need them? Why do I need a home page, a service page, a blog page, a contact page, right, or testimony page? Why do I need them? Or, like I said, how many I'm going to create, and why do I need them? You have to understand this. I need the service page because I'm going to explain them my services. I need the testimony for credibility. I need the blog for the search engine, and also to educate my target audience, right? It's an e-commerce for product. Okay, so that's an e-commerce. Great. So now that means you're going to sell something, right? What kind of product you're going to sell, right? What kind of product are you planning to sell? And you also have to think from another perspective. When you target audience, here's another thing. Before even building a website, you have to understand who is your audience, who is your customer. You got to analyze that. You got to do the market research, right? When your target audience visit the website, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to click on the products? Do you want them to purchase the products? Do you want them to look at other information? Right? And what is going to be that one call to action? I'm assuming shop now, right? And if you want to generate emails through that, I mean, you have to come with all these ideas. So before even deciding on what platform and the design of the site and whatnot, first thing you have to do is the market research. Who is my audience? It's very, very important. Who is my customer? I have to do the market research. Because if you build a website and you don't know who is your customer, that's a complete waste of time and money, right? Does that make sense? So the first thing is, I need to look at who is my audience. What's their age? What's their gender? What's their income? I gotta do that first, right? Then after that, okay, it's gonna be an e-commerce website, okay? Again, my question to you, what are you planning to sell? What kind of business is it? You have to give me more detail for me to understand so I can give you a proper answer. Otherwise, if you just give me a general question and I don't know what it is, I'll do an injustice to you, right? So if you can help me, so I can help you, give me more information. It's an e-commerce website. Okay, what kind of e-commerce website? Okay, what kind of e-commerce website? Hey Nadia, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. How is H-Town? How are things in H-Town, Houston? Excuse me, got a text. Excuse my rudeness. So, Larissa, what kind of e-commerce site is it? No reply. Products I make for gardening. Okay. Okay, so you're gonna sell gardening product. What are those? Okay, you gotta be specific. You gotta tell me what are you selling. Okay, so gardening product. Is it like a what do you call it? I don't even know. I mean, is it like fertilizers? Is it seeds? Is it like the what do you call it? The thing, right? Excuse me. Do, do, do. Tools, yeah, tools. Are you selling tools? So we need to know that first, like the specific product you're selling. Then my next question will be, who's your customer then? Are gardeners your customer, or people that want to do gardening? If those are your clients, then you have to see exactly where they exist. Then you can look at a sample and then decide which platform you're going to use to build the e-commerce. If it's a template-based services like Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace, that's one option because they come with all the payments. Like a payment gateway, everything is ready for you. Just drag and drop. Doesn't require to do a lot of code. But if you're going to use a self-hosted WordPress-based website, which is going to be a little bit pricey, if you want to build it by yourself, you're gonna have to learn more. But the cool thing about WordPress, they come with different design for your niche. So let's say for gardening, e-commerce, they already have a template for that, so you can see how they look. Does that make sense? Custom curve tools, a decorative pot stuff that can be personalized. Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Okay, so the thing is, right now, when you start initially, Larissa, you don't want to put tons of product already because you're not sure 100% how long it's going to take for this to work. So let's say you're gonna produce and sell maybe top five product, and you try to market it heavily, whether it's through the social or a little bit of the ad. And the way you build the e-commerce website, I mean, e-commerce website mostly typical. You have one big banner that talks about the specific product, shop now, view the products, add to cart. So that means you have to understand how payment gateway works. You have to understand how the shipping system works and whatnot. So that's a whole different genre. But if you have something specific, I would say first, do a little bit of research of your target audience. Then second thing is what kind of domain name you are going to come up with. If you're focusing locally, maybe that domain name has a combination of the word gardening and something also local. Then you have to decide which hosting company go with, whether you're going to use the Wix, Weebly, or Squarespace, or if you want to do the self-hosted WordPress-based website, then you have to buy the domain registration, which you're going to pay like a yearly. And you also have to pay for the hosting services, like, monthly web hosting services where you can install the WordPress and build a site there, right? If you do everything by yourself, you have to look into the payment gateway like a Stripe.com or PayPal, how the payment going to go through, what are the fees, am I going to ship this myself and whatnot. If you're going to use Squarespace, Squarespace already comes with a payment system built up on the back end, right? And they will tell you how much it costs their fees. So it doesn't require a lot of technical process for you to figure out how to configure it, right? So that's something you have to decide whether you're going to go with Squarespace or do self-hosted. And initially, when you create the website, you got to make sure the content are very easy to understand, very easy to read for the human being and for the search engine. But initially, my advice would be don't sell more than like five and push the traffic to it. Then eventually you're gonna add more, like the tools and different things and whatnot, because you gotta build the traffic coming in, right? So that can be a whole different talk. In fact, I think was it WP Beginner or Neil Patel did a whole course on. Let's see, Neil Patel. He did a free course on how to do ground up startup on the e-commerce. Let me see if I can find it. It was a free course as well. Beep, 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 beep. This should get you busy. Let's see. E-commerce. E-commerce card foundation. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to learn. Wow. Okay. But what are they using? Okay. I mean, you can also sell your product on Amazon. If you do the Amazon FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, some of this product can be in the warehouse and they'll ship it on your behalf. Um, let's see. Sale channel. Yeah, the one that Neil Patel is talking about, not an actual site. I have to look into. I gotta see exactly what he's teaching there because I don't see anything about building a site and whatnot. Like he's mentioning Amazon. I'm like, So if you need something specific to teach you how to start, I mean, I can get you some information about. But again, you get back to me with more questions. Like what are you planning? What are you doing so far, or what you did so far? Send me those messages, and I'll go ahead and give you some guidance. Because right now, there's gonna be a lot of work involved, Larissa. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of work involved for this for the project that you're working on. So unless if you have all those questions, you can ask right now, quickly. If not, you can send me a direct messages and ask me more questions because I'm gonna have to ask you more questions to understand exactly where you're at. 1 second. Hey, Luis, what's going on? Pretty good. How about yourself? Huh? Go ahead. Stone Oak. Uh huh. Oh no, no, no. Whatever you want, just let me know. It's all good. Okay, perfect. I'll see you tomorrow then. All right. Bye bye. You're welcome. Sorry, client call. All right. So Larissa, if you don't have any question right now ready, I'll have to think about those questions. Oh, no problem. Okay, great. Yeah. So this is going to be very fun because the cool thing about your business is something that you're doing it by yourself. You're building it by yourself, especially on this time. That's very awesome. So let's figure out like what kind of budget do you have, what kind of capability and limitation you have, and we'll go on that based on that, right? So that's why I'm going to be asking you tons of questions, and these questions not to like to give you a headache. This is like to actually help you because sometimes we don't know where to start, right? So I'm going to help you with that, kind of clear your mind a little bit so you can focus on the proper area strategically and build it slowly or build it strategically and not like going everywhere. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So we can focus on the priority first, step by step until you build it. Then as the business start to get kicks in and you're gonna start selling few product here and there, then I'm gonna show you and explain to you which area you need to focus on. Because to grow things it takes time. Just like when you grow the seed in the garden, it takes time, right? Same concept. But no worries. Feel free to write down any question you have or tons of questions you have. You can DM me or you can ask me tomorrow. That's up to you. So let's continue the conversation. So I can help you to get your business started and start selling those cool stuff, right? Especially around this time, you gotta make some additional income through your amazing skills. You know what I mean? All right. Do we have any more questions, y'all? I'm gonna wait for one more minute, and after that, I'll bounce. And by the way, folks, if you all enjoyed, learning from this session today, don't forget to tag some of your business colleagues, invite them, or share this live streaming. I would highly appreciate it. I got a guest coming in. All right, folks. Thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you all sometime this week or tomorrow.